Hello fellow Titan Quest fans! During my numerous playthroughs I discovered a bunch of stuff that I wanted to share with you, my dear viewers. This is 6 things that you need to know when you're playing Titan Quest 2. Let's dive right in, starting with number 1. A big part of the game is running around the world of ancient mythological Greece. Be it either going to your quests, uncovering secrets of the handcrafted world, or just roaming around the map, getting XP out of cleaning up enemies. When you are not fighting or solving a quest, you are running. You don't want to cover all the distance slowly at a snail's pace, but reasonably quick. You always pick the of journeying suffix for your boots and make use of your movement spells. There's a trick to get around even faster, and it's getting swap weapons that increases movement speed. There's the Hippocampus mini-boss fight, where you can get an epic item as a reward, the Hippocampus Scapula. Both Might and Knowledge characters can equip their 200x, because it only requires Resolve. Use that weapon in your swap weapon slot and switch to it with Tab in order to run faster in areas without enemies. The Scapula can roll with 8% to 14% of movement speed, which is a big increase. But what about agility heroes? They got the short end of the stick because they can't equip the Scapula that is guaranteed to drop at the Hippocampus. There's an agility bow called Storm Strike. That's one of the items that gives agility characters a movement speed bonus for now. If you have it, use that one on your main agility hero to run faster whenever needed. You can also use the 200x called Megalos to run faster. This one is also for agility heroes because it requires fitness. Don't forget to put your movement abilities also in the slot bar for your swap weapons. It really makes a difference if you can get around the map faster. Once you tried it, there's no going back, or going slowly anymore. Coming to number 2, let's talk about items. To give you a quick rundown, there's the common items that you only use in the first 10 minutes of the game. Then there's magical items that can have up to 2 affixes. The next rarity is rare items, those can have up to 4 affixes. 2 of those affixes are in the item name, and up to 2 other ones also roll, and you have to identify them by looking at the item. The possible affixes that can roll on one item are limited, meaning that only certain affixes can roll on certain equipment. For example, the suffix of journeying can only roll on boots. You often look for 3 specific affixes in an item. That makes your build much stronger. For instance, a lightning build is farming for a ring that gives the specific affixes spell damage, crit chance and lightning damage. There's also inherent stats for all armor and weapons. Every item of the rarity common, magical and rare also has that additional inherent stat. A spiked club has extra pierce damage, mage armor usually has energy barrier, etc. Also pay attention to those inherent stats. The next rarity is monster infrequent. They basically have 2 to 4 normal affixes, but they also have 2 inherent stats instead of 1. They only drop from specific monsters, for example, some bandit club can only drop from bandits, or some Ichthyan helmet can only drop from the Ichthyans. Lastly, we have the rarity Epic. Those items don't have any inherent stat, but they can have some special stats that you won't find in any other rarity. For example, +5 maximum plague stacks, chance on hit to explode enemies, or if you have 4 overwhelm, you deal lightning damage in an area, or energy regeneration per second on weapons or shields, or even energy regen whenever you crit. The higher your level is, the stronger the items that you find. This is also true for epic items. If you get those at higher level, they will be a lot stronger. That's why it can be beneficial to wait on turning in quests. where you know that you will get a guaranteed epic item, such as the Kana's quest or the Ember's Lady quest. Another important thing about items is that some affixes scale with your character's tier. If you are tier 3 or 4 in your mastery tree, you might find items with affixes that have higher bonuses than when you found them on a lower tier. This can drastically improve the power level of your build when you find a good main weapon that has all the stats you need, but now the main stat is much higher than the one your previous weapon had. Continuing with tip number 3 that you need. The more experienced players will already practice it to some degree, but for newer ones it will make a huge difference. Utilize your caravan stash to the fullest extent. You can stash away items that you will need on your next playthrough with a different hero. If you have some decent health or mana potions that you are using, but you are finding better ones, don't sell the old ones but leave them in the stash for the next playthrough. I recommend that you buy 2 to 3 pages of stash to store good items. To keep track on which item is for what kind of hero, I recommend that you create one stash for might, agility and knowledge heroes, and also one stash for jewelry and potions. Whenever you start a new playthrough and come to Pyrgos for the first time, you can stack up on very strong items. For example, gear with huge armor values and the exact affixes that you need for the respective builds that you are playing at the time. The fourth thing that you need is something that I implement in every single playthrough that I do. After first checking in at Pyrgos, I visit the Glaukos desecrated shrine relatively early. The reason being that you get 5 divinity once you cleared the shrine. You are usually at level 12 by then, and at that point you can unlock tier 3 of your mastery. This unlocks movement spells for all the masteries except warfare, but also important passive skills. It is much more fun to clear the flooded farmlands after that. The vast majority of builds get a drastic power increase by unlocking tier 3 abilities, and the fights at Glaukos Shrine are not harder than any other at the flooded farmlands. That's the beauty of Titan Quest 2. You are not completely fixed in the pattern of where you need to go, you have some level of freedom. I advise you to do that because cleaning the gigantic area of the flooded farmlands with tier 3 is so much more fun. I usually do it in this order. Right after coming to Pyrgos, I kill the first Ichthyan commander at the right, then do the Hermes quest by sacrificing the turtle, then head to the left of the map to clear the bandit camp, get the Moly root, engagement rings for the ghost couple, get the lily for the naiad, then visit Onetas and the naiad afterwards. The character is at level 11 at that point, and clearing the mobs at the Glaukos shrine gets you a level up to be the perfect level of 12 when getting the 5 divinity. Coming to number 5. We are talking about how to get your desired items. Most builds benefit from having specific gear. A crit build wants to stack items that grant a higher critical hit chance, or a build that channels Earthquake as a main source of damage wants as many items with cast speed as possible. The more specific the build, the more they are dependent on certain items. You often need some very specific stats on gear to build your ideal character. An overload character that deals only lightning damage will want to have the charged prefix that gives % of lightning damage, among other things. The question is, how to get all those items? The best way to get them is by killing bosses. Once you kill a boss, you get their remnants, which you have to take to the shrine in town. Then you can summon the boss for some gold. There are many bosses that you can farm: Aristomenes, the Hippocampus, Pan, the skeleton boss at the Moira temple, who has the name Tisepilogos. Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? Which one of those bosses you want to farm depends on your preference. The most items you get from Pan, because you get one barrage of items after killing him, and also a bunch at the treasure chest. Just reload the game, Sell the trash at Pyrgos and keep the good items in your stash. You can automatically sell all of the rare items that don't have 4 stats, unless it's the exact 3 stats that you're looking for. Still, the chance of getting epic items is very low at the bosses and even lower in the field from mobs. If you're looking for a specific one, I recommend that you use the scavenger near the waypoint Farmland Crossroads in the north. There you can gamble for some gold. If you're lucky, you only have to drop 30k gold to get the item that you want. With that, we come to tip number 6, using farming spots to adjust monster levels. We already talked about where to get the gold. In that regard, the boss Pan is the best option. You kill him, get all the items, reload, sell and repeat. My favorite spot is actually DCP Logos, because the boss fight is over pretty quick and you can immediately resummon him. The boss music doesn't even stop, and after defeating him 3 times you sell all the items at Pyrgos. It's not the most gold efficient boss, but it's the most fun for me. The best way to farm items are definitely bosses, or in some cases the scavenger, but where do you best farm XP? The best way is to adjust the minimum monster level at the ritual shrine in town. Once you take the middle option of the Ritual of Ares, you adjust the minimum monster and boss level to the current level you have. This gives you decent XP for killing monsters and better loot from bosses. You can also use the first option at the shrine to set the level to +5. That way you can just hunt in the farmlands to get level ups within minutes. The adjustment is often needed, especially once you reach level 20. Normal mobs and bosses become too easy, and on top of that they don't give much XP. Opposed to when you get your rituals going and get level up super fast, especially when running the whole Moirai temple. Bonus tip as a thanks for making it all the way to the end of this video. We just have the first content update of the early access release at this point. I recommend that you don't push your builds higher than level 30. The level cap is currently level 40, and I think for the next content update the level cap will stay that way. That means you have your main hero, which is level 40, and start the next content update, which is coming soon. All the quests and monsters won't give you any XP, so what is even the point? A big part of the game's fun is to level up and getting stronger with each step of the way. You notice every level up with the active and passive points. By unlocking modifiers or feats, you get noticeably stronger. I recommend that you don't rob yourself of that fun and stop with your heroes at level 30 or a little higher. And now it's your turn. Tell me if you took away something from this video, or maybe even if you have some great advice yourself. I would love to see those in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.